Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here with you today. Actually, I was thinking of starting this session with an inspiring success story. You know, the kind of stories that you've all heard before of successful women and men and how they had to fail 100 times before they've reached their goals and reached success. But success cannot be measured in terms of numbers, fame, or even money. So if I started with an inspiring story, I would be guiding you in a very wrong path. Success can only be defined by you alone, by yourself. It means a different thing to every individual. Max Weber said that we grow in the iron cage of others' expectations. We grow in the iron cage of others' expectations. Let me give you an example. When we were back at school, our mom would say, "You need to have high grades." So our success was measured by whether or not we achieved high grades. When we are at work and our boss says that, you need to work harder and raise your standards to get a promotion, then our success is measured by whether or not we achieved that promotion. And when we have friends who are happily married with beautiful families, but we have chosen a different lifestyle, then our success is measured by our marital status. It is an iron cage. At the end of the day, only you can define what success means to you. Only you can design the life that you want to live. Have you heard of a book called Regrets of the Dying? It's a book by Bronnie Wade. Well, Bronnie was in palliative care. Her patients were people who went home to die. And Bronnie did her own kind of research. She asked her patients what regrets did they have, what they would have done differently in their lives. The most common regret of all her patients said the same thing, and it came up as number one. I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself and not the life others expected of me. So I know this is not very inspiring, talking about people and what they think while at their deathbeds. But the point I'm trying to make is for you to realize that you have so much more inside of you than you're willing to accept, let alone acknowledge. If there is one thing I'd like you to take with you after this talk, is to break free from this iron cage. Now, this sounds very easy, inspiring, but here is the tricky part. What are you doing about it? Are you waiting or are you creating? Are you out there chasing opportunities? Are you designing the life that you want to live, the better version of yourself? Action equals reaction. If you sit and wait, nothing much will happen. Walt Whitman said that we convince by our presence. But in order to convince others by our presence, we first must convince ourselves. To be present, it's not enough to know who you are and where you want to go. You need to act on it. Well, presence is power, and the good news is that we all have this incredible power within us. It doesn't matter where we come from, how fortunate or unfortunate we've been, we can all learn to harness that power. When you become present, it's not just about yourself. You allow others to be present as well. Your presence in life is about how you make other people feel, the impact you're making in your network, in your society, in the world. So how do you do that? Well, by focusing on what you are doing, not on what other people are doing, and definitely not on what other people expect you to be doing. I'll give you an example. when I started my first business, I was terrified. Some family members would say that don't leave your job, the security of your job, the money, the status, whatever it is. And in the meantime, I would observe my competition. And I would think to myself, I'm not as good as they are. I'll never be as good as they are. But then I took a small step, and another, and another, and another. Action equals reaction. When you take small steps, that's how you grow, that's how you learn, that's how you evolve, and that's how you build confidence. So, what's stopping you from acting? In one word, fear. But let me be honest here. I think that fear is a very good emotion. It's our innate defense mechanism that has helped us survive throughout the years. It's the mechanism that, when a lion is after you, you start running faster to save your life. That's fear. It also protects us from doing silly things like jumping off dangerous cliffs just for the fun of it. So it's not fear that we should be afraid of. What's holding us back is that we are not taking the time to define fear and evaluate fear. I'll give you one more example. I have worked with numerous speakers, coaching them on their presence and presentation skills. But if anyone asked me 10 years ago to go on a stage and give a keynote in front of an audience, I would have said, no way. No, that's not for me. Leave me alone. Why? Fear. And to be more precise, I never took the time to sit down and define that fear and evaluate that fear. So in this example, I'll share with you a secret phrase that helped me change my mindset. Just do it. Thank you, Nike. But hold on one moment. I didn't just wake up one morning feeling inspired by this wonderful advertisement. I first defined my fear. So, what was it that worried me so much? Was I going to get physically hurt by going on a stage in front of an audience? Tomatoes don't hurt that much. Was I going to get financially hurt? Really? By one miserable performance? I don't think so. I would get emotionally hurt. That was my concern. That was the fear I had. The fear of being humiliated, ridiculed, and the fear to underdeliver. Actors don't win an Oscar for their first movie. Well, to be honest, unless you are Barbara Streisand or Julie Andrews as Mary Poppins, they ruin my example and a couple more others. But most actors, they don't win an Oscar for their first movie. They have to try, they have to practice, they have to gain experience, they have to fail, learn how to get back up on their feet, and then fail again and again and again and again, and take small steps, as I told you at the beginning. That's how they win an Oscar at the end. And they also visualize the moment that they're holding the Oscar. They dream about it. They have thought of every single detail. That's their passion. The risk of not trying is so much greater than risking to step out of your comfort zone. Good things, they don't happen to those who wait. They happen to those who act. And if you act, then impossible is nothing. Yeah. If I can't inspire you to act, I hope the shoes, athletic shoes manufacturers, they will do the trick for you. But you need to remember, we are what we repeatedly do. If we seek mastery at a skill, we need to practice and practice and then practice some more. If we sit down and wait for opportunities to come our way, or a miracle, then that is what characterizes us. We are not doers. We just sit and wait. So define your fears, evaluate them, and start taking that first small step. It takes just one breath, a deep breath, to take a dive into an ocean and explore new opportunities. So I mentioned presence before. Presence emerges when we feel personally powerful. This allows us to be completely attuned with our most sincere selves. In this psychological state, when we are present, we are able to maintain our presence even under the most difficult and stressful and overwhelming situations. You see, when you are present, it means that you know who you are, you know where you want to go and what impact you want to make. So by knowing this, you are able to control your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. So when we are present, when we feel present, our speech, our facial expressions, our gestures, our posture, they synchronize, they align. And this is what makes us compelling. We are no longer fighting ourselves. We are being ourselves. So the good news is that presence, this tremendous power, it happens with incremental change. It's about every day. It's about practicing it. It's about knowing who you are and where you want to go, designing your ideal self, and walking the talk. But first, you need to believe in you. Presence stems from believing and trusting your feelings, your story, your abilities. It all starts with being authentic. Presence is not about imitating or pretending to be someone you're not. Presence is not about faking it, and it's definitely not about creating a persona. It's not about pretending to be competent or passionate about something that you're not. To put it simply, you can't sell a skill that you don't have. And similarly, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. So since we are all very powerful individuals, we can all harness the power of presence. The moment you realize that you are accountable for your life, it's the moment that you start harnessing that presence. You, only you, and you alone are responsible for the thoughts, the actions, the decisions, and the environment you create around you. No one else. Without knowing your strengths and the areas for development and where you want to go, you cannot harness that power. True confidence comes from a real understanding and appreciation of our own selves and a long-term commitment for growth. And remember, your thoughts, they influence your actions. We've got enough people telling us that we're not good enough. Focus on yourself. Focus on what you want to achieve, on what you are doing, and move at your own pace to step out from that iron cage. People with high presence, they think and they act differently. They think differently about themselves. They know what they can control and what they cannot control, and they focus on things that they can control. They are extremely self-aware, but equally, they are very much aware of how others feel around them. You see, recognizing how others feel is of top priority for high presence individuals because they want to make an impact, a positive impact. So, are you walking the talk? Are you creating or are you waiting? Are you out there chasing opportunities, designing the ideal version of yourself? I'll give you a quick summary of what I just said, or 3 steps if that's more convenient. First, who do you want to be? Take your time, quiet time, just you and yourself, to have an open, honest discussion. No Netflix, no mobile phones, no social media. You and yourself, discussing about your strengths and your weaknesses. Discussing about where you are now and where you want to go. Deciding who you want to be. Designing the ideal version of yourself. Write everything down in every possible detail. So in 5 years from now, I want to be a university professor. At this university, I want to dress like this, I want to eat healthy, I want to manage my energy, I want to keep these friends, I want to let go of those friends, I want to have a dog or a cat or a parrot, you get the point what I'm trying to say. And also write down your values and your behaviors and your boundaries. Tell your brain what you want to achieve so that your brain can spot opportunities more easily for you. Step number 2, define your fears and evaluate your fears. Don't let the fear of rejection or even embarrassment stop you from becoming the person you want to be. If there is a financial risk involved in what you're planning on doing, then reevaluate, find other opportunities. There are always more solutions to a problem rather than just one. And finally, take the shoe expert's advice and just do it. I'll leave you with a wish. To live the present, learn from the past, and dream the future. Thank you very much.